I am Kim Nolan, and I'm in my studio here at Kawara Beach. This is where I like to hang out, and it's also my place where I meditate, which makes me happy. And it's where my passion flows, really. It's my happy spaces out here, if it's not at the beach or somewhere green. This is a piece that I'm working on at the moment. I'm working with black clay, and I'm just playing around with piping at the moment, which is kind of my new thing. So I'm using the piping bag to add a layer of texture to the form that I made. I make the initial form just over my exercise ball over there. It holds the shape for me while I work the outside, and then when it's firmed up enough, I take it off there and start working on the inside to give me another layer of depth to the piece I'm making. I've always been intrigued as a child with rock pools and sea anemones. Growing up in New Zealand, I got a lot of strong memories of going to the beach and looking for crabs and sea anemones, and just it really was one of my happy places. I've also got a strong interest in the layers of rock and fossils, and how weather erodes soft layers of rock and exposes hard layers of rock. So all my work is heavily inspired by nature, whether it's drawn from memories or where I live here in Cairns. My concern is, people need to recycle, be aware of what we're doing to nature, what we're doing with plastics and how it affects our environment that we live. I've done a series on metal and how it gets dropped to the bottom of the ocean and discarded, and then how nature repurposes it and starts to build life on it. Barnacles and the textures involved in subtle ways of showing that these things don't go away once we put it in our rubbish bin. So we need to think about possibly, reducing our waste. It's changed the way I do things, in that I like to repurpose as much things as I can, reduce the waste that I have that's going out. I will find anything I can to reuse in a different way, thinking outside the box of using things for moulds, putting clay over top of, using it for texture. I used to, I still am, a very strong gardener, but I used to take the rocks and stuff from out in the environment and bring home for my own garden, which is, to now I see as, personally I think that's not right. So now that's why I make my own rocks when I'm going with a piece, rather than just finding pebbles from the beach, because I'm taking it home from a crab or something else, or an organism is using that as their home. And it's just even small things like that. It's an overwhelming subject, and I get overwhelmed by it, but I try and visualise myself as a small pebble, and if I just do my bit in my capacity, then talking about it will encourage someone else to be a small pebble, and then they'll talk about it and they'll encourage other people to be small pebbles, and before you know it, we're building a mountain of change for our environment. Being outside around nature has always been able to, fill my bucket or recharge my batteries. Being around people in town and cities takes my energy. So I spent a period of about 8 years living in Brisbane, and I was the least creative I've ever been, and I started suffering from anxiety because I was just around too many people and not enough outdoor areas where I could go to and feel relaxed. So the pieces that I'm working on at the moment are for an exhibition called Unleashed 2022, Fresh Meat, which is MEET, and it's run by Artisan Gallery down in Brisbane. They're a non-profit organisation that help promote emerging artists, and this year they asked regional Queensland to nominate an artist to go down and participate, and I was fortunate enough that Northside, Ashley Campbell, nominated me to participate in this upcoming exhibition. For me, it's a big deal. It's a big deal for me because I'm making a commitment from doing this as someone's wife or someone's mum to being Kim Nolan. This is who I am. I'm making a statement. This is who I am and this is how I think. And so, yeah, it's intimidating and exciting at the same time. I'm a very visual person, so I put the layers of the complex kind of thinking that I have into my work, and it's the way I speak to people because I don't always articulate very well, so I talk through my work. And at the moment I'm working with clay, but that doesn't mean I'll always stay with clay. I will keep moving forward on my journey. But I learnt design and drawing and all the other aspects that go with being an artist and being able to design something that is unique and push your boundaries. I mean, if you don't keep pushing yourself, you still end up with a very same product or a very flat looking product, and I want more depth and movement and something that will speak to people. There's always something in my mind that's making it go, what if I try this? What if I do this? And what will this look like? There's a lot of pieces in my garden because it didn't look any good, but there's lots of happy surprises too. You didn't expect that, but that looks really cool.